Just going to wait a couple of minutes to allow people to join the webinar. Okay, great. So welcome everyone to this webinar for the urban community, where we're going to introduce two really exciting initiatives that we've been working on over the last few months. So the first one is a program called Hero Protections and Rewards, and the second one is the AI Mika, which members of our community should have started to receive over the last couple of days. So both of these initiatives, we believe, are firsts for wellness and beauty platforms. So we're really, really proud to be leading the way on both and to be able to share them with you today. Thanks very much for joining the webinar and taking some time to understand a little bit more about them. So we'll talk first about Hero Protections and Rewards. We'll then move on to talking about AI Mika, and then we'll have some time to go through some questions. Some questions have already been submitted in advance. But if you have any more questions, please just add them in the chat and we'll come to them at the end of the webinar as well. So starting off with Hero Protections and Rewards, we've teamed up with a partner called the Collective Benefits to give heroes free access to a few things. So first of all, and probably most importantly, more financial security when you're not able to work. For a number of reasons, whether that's sickness, illness, compassionate leave, injury. The second one is better access to medical support. So this is both looking at better access to mental health support, but also physical health support. And again, I'll share a little bit more detail in a minute. The third part is access to a series of perks and discounts, including some really big retailers in the UK. So big name supermarkets, petrol stations as well. And those discounts can range from kind of 5 to 20%. So some really significant savings for you there. And all of this is with really the intention of allowing you to continue doing what you love while we take care of the rest and hopefully taking some of the pressures off of you. So just looking at the protections and rewards in a little bit more detail, as I mentioned, they're split into 3 different categories. Time off work, so it includes sick pay, so pay if you're ill and unable to work, accident and injury pay, so similarly, if you're injured and unable to work, compassionate leave and actually family leave as well, so if you need to take time off due to the loss of a loved one, or the birth or adoption of a child. And then in the most serious cases, also compensation to support you and your family in case of a disablement or even the most serious incident, an accidental death. On the wellness side, as I mentioned, both support for physical and mental health. So access to a digital GP, that's both for you and your family, so that you can quickly access the support that you need via phone or a video conference. Also, a mental health support line so that you can receive expert counselling and support there, as well as an advice line for more practical support focused on support for self-employed people, so including things like financial advice and managing your money. Finally, there's a part around the deals and discounts I already mentioned. So those are those discounts that you can receive off major retailers across the UK. And as well as all of this, you'll obviously keep all of your existing hero perks as well. So discounted treatments on the Urban app, as well as discounts with our partner brands. So nothing changes there. So who's going to be eligible for these perks and rewards, and when does eligibility start? So the first time that you'll have access to these rewards is from next month, so June 2021. And eligibility will always be based on two things. So the total number of bookings that you've completed with Urban in any treatment, any city, at any time. There's no cutoff point, so you don't have to achieve these milestones by a certain date. It's just once you reach that milestone, you'll then have access to that tier. So you'll start having access from once you reach 250 bookings, and then the tiers increase, the top tier being a minimum of 750 bookings. The second criteria is around your average availability or number of hours that you're adding on the app. So typically this will be based on a 3-month rolling average, just to give you some flexibility if you need to take time off for a holiday or something. We don't want you to be kind of penalized and just base it on 1 month. So again, for the top tier, you'll need to be adding 100 hours of availability with Urban a month, which is roughly about 23 hours per week. So someone working pretty regularly on the platform. But for the lower tiers, it's a slightly lower minimum of 75 hours. In terms of the access that you get to the protections and rewards, in the top tier, you access everything. In the second tier, it's only sick cover that's not included. And then in the bottom tier, the third tier, the access includes the perks and discounts and the accidental death and critical injury cover as well. So just one thing to flag in terms of the availability criteria, it will work a little bit differently for the first 2 months. And that's just because we don't want to penalize heroes who weren't able to work during the national lockdown, or also heroes who were adding reduced availability to reduce the interactions that they were having per day and per week. So for the first month of protections and rewards in June, the availability criteria will just be based on the period of 1 month from the 16th of April to the 15th of May. For the second month, so access in July, that will be based on 2 months from the 16th of April to the 15th of June. And then from August onwards, it will move to that 3-month rolling average, and that will stay the same. So how do you know if you're eligible? So you'll be able to track your eligibility using your Mika dashboard that will be sent to you on a weekly basis. You'll receive it via email, and you'll be able to see both how you're tracking in terms of total bookings. So you can see in this example that the hero is very comfortably meeting all 3 tiers of total booking eligibility. And you'll also be able to see how you're tracking in terms of availability for that availability period. So if we look in this example, again, the hero is comfortably meeting the top tier of availability. They need to be meeting over 100 hours, and for the month, they're tracking towards 126 hours. So you'll see the split here of actual hours and hours still to realize. So those are hours in days still upcoming in that period. So as long as that hero keeps their availability in until the end of the period, they'll comfortably meet the criteria. Once you do meet the criteria, you'll receive an email from the collective benefits inviting you to sign up to the program. And heroes who are eligible for the first month of benefits in June will receive invitations from the last week of May. So as long as you can see that you've been tracking towards meeting those criteria, then yeah, expect an email coming to your inbox in the last week of May as well. Great, so that was a quick introduction to hero protections and rewards. As I said, if you do have any questions, please just submit them in the chat. So moving on to talking a little bit about AI Mika and what it is. So it's something we've been working on for a while, and the mission here is really to help you maximize your earning potential and to help you grow your business with Urban. There's lots of different ways in which we can kind of use Mika, but to make it accessible to you kind of as quickly as possible, we've launched a performance dashboard that gives you all of the information you need, as I said, on a weekly basis. So within that dashboard, you'll see how you've been performing in the last few weeks, how you can capture more bookings from new clients, so the best places and times to work and the best way for you to be adding availability, how you can maintain and grow your repeat client base, so which repeat clients you've been missing and why you might have been missing bookings from them, to make sure that you can capture those in the future, how you compare to other similar pros on the platform, so just how you can see how you're ranking, and also learn from other pros. And also, as I mentioned in the previous section, how you're tracking for eligibility for hero protections and rewards, so that you can see if you're comfortably meeting the criteria, or if there might be adjustments that you need to make in order to make sure that you're either starting to receive or maintaining those protections and rewards. We'll share the information with you, as I said, on a weekly basis via email. So please do keep an eye on your inbox for that information, and then you'll be able to track your progress week on week. So what does the dashboard actually look like, especially for anyone who hasn't had a chance to look so far? This is just a really quick recording. So you can see from the top overall performance over the last week. You can then look at how your performance has been changing week on week. You can see when clients are actually booking, kind of how far in advance. You can look at missed opportunities with repeat customers, where you were actually missing those repeat customers, and at what times you were missing them. And then finally, for new customers, again, where you're missing opportunities to attract and find new customers and at what times. And then the overview of your performance versus other heroes, and then the tracking for the eligibility criteria for hero protections and rewards. I'm conscious that that's a very, very quick run through. So I really would recommend you taking the time to go into your email, look at your specific dashboard, and understand the different sections in your performance for each part. So we obviously only launched this a couple of days ago, but we were having some conversations with a group of heroes as well to get some initial feedback. And the feedback so far has been really, really positive. So I just wanted to share a few examples with you. So we have one comment saying, "Thank you, Urban Team. I've been waiting 5 years for this. The stats are extremely useful. This is amazing. All the things you feel about when and where it's busy are being confirmed in numbers, which gives you the confidence to make changes to the way you work." Someone asking, when can I start actually receiving this every week? I'll definitely use it to make sure I'm not missing out on opportunities, especially on my repeat clients. And I've always removed availability if it's not booked by the day. I'll be changing that now I know how many bookings happen same day. So a lot of heroes who have already seen the dashboard, definitely finding it useful, finding that it gives kind of advice and tips on potential changes that they might want to make to their habits. So really pleased to hear this, and hope that it's good encouragement as well for other heroes who haven't had the chance to take a look yet to have a look and see how it might be helpful for you as well. So in terms of getting to grips with Mika, we're quite conscious that there's a lot of new information that we're sharing within the dashboard, and it's natural that it's going to take some time to understand all of the different parts. So please don't be overwhelmed. There's lots of things that we're doing to try and make the journey as smooth as possible, and the education process as smooth as possible. So you'll see when you look at your dashboard, every section has an explanatory video which takes you through an example of how to read the information and how to act on it. So it's basically one of the Urban Team doing a voiceover, talking through exactly kind of the points to look out for, and then how you can interpret the data and what you can do based on that interpretation. We'll also be hosting a series of webinars to share education on the different sections of Mika, and also to gather your inputs and feedback. And obviously this webinar is the first of those. There are also loads of really helpful links within the dashboards. So they have more explanation, also practical advice on how to use the information. So there's a really great kind of set of resources that you can use. So even if there's a section which you haven't kind of fully got to grips with, check out the links as well, and there might be some kind of little nuggets of information that can really support you. Great. So that was everything in terms of a really quick overview of the two launches. What I'll do now is just move to answering a few questions that came in advance of the webinar, and then we can also answer any live questions that are coming through already now on the chat. So if I just start with the questions that we had in advance. So first of all, there was a question around how the treatment criteria works. Hero was asking, is there a time limit by which you can achieve the historic treatment count, for instance, the 750 for the top tier? So to be really clear, the treatment criteria is based on your total historic treatments. There is no time limit on reaching the total treatment mark. And once you reach that milestone at any time, you will become eligible for the program. And as long as you're also meeting the availability criteria, you'll receive the communication to be added to the program. Secondly, there was a question about how does the compassionate and family leave actually work? So just to clarify there, so if you're eligible for that protection, you're able to claim time off work payments in the event of either the loss of a loved one or the birth or adoption of a child. In that scenario, you're entitled to a payment of £500 to support you through that period. And you'll find full details of exactly how to claim that through the collective once you're on the platform and have access to the dashboard. We also received a question about holiday pay and asking, will Urban be offering holiday pay to heroes, and why is that not included in the current package? So hero protections and rewards are intended to give heroes more financial security and better access to medical care. That was the first priority. And we're the first, as I mentioned, the first platform of our kind to offer this type of program to our partners. And we really hope it's going to make a really material difference to the lives of our heroes. I think it's important to clarify that as a technology platform for self-employed professionals, we're under no legal obligation to offer any such benefits. It's something that we want to do, and we believe it's the right thing to do for our community. And we're really pleased to have made it happen with the collective. Unfortunately, the program does not include paid holidays. This is not a benefit that our partner, the Collective Benefits, offers, and nor is it something that Urban can afford in the current price structure, in which we're able to offer our partners over 70% of the treatment cost. This program, Hero Protections and Rewards, is being launched on a 6-month trial. So we will be looking at how effective, how useful it is for our heroes, and we will be reviewing it after the 6 months. So nothing is completely set in stone, but at the moment, this is the set of protections and rewards that we've been able to offer. And we really hope that they will be beneficial and helpful to the whole community. Great. So we've just had one more question, a couple more questions coming through live. So one, I'll be going on leave for 3 weeks in August. Can you clarify again how the number of hours will be calculated to reach eligibility? Yeah, of course. So I'm assuming that that leave will be kind of a holiday period across August. We calculate eligibility, and by August, we'll be calculating eligibility based on a 3-month rolling average. So if you wanted to make sure that you were maintaining, for instance, 75 hours per month, and continuing to hit that eligibility criteria, for the month of September, we would be considering your hours in August, July, and June. So for instance, if you knew that you were taking 3 weeks off in August and your availability in August was going to drop, you could, for instance, look to be adding a little bit more availability in June and July to balance that out. and make sure that your 3-month rolling average was still at the minimum level. If you weren't able to do that, and you found yourself in a situation in September where you were no longer eligible, we are trying to work with the collective on a way to continue to allow you to continue to pay for your protections and rewards yourselves in a month where you drop out of eligibility. It's something that's still to be confirmed, but that could also be an option. Great. So we had another question in the case of if you suffer a bereavement, for instance, to a parent. So this would be something that would potentially be covered by the compassionate leave. In terms of the kind of claiming process, that's one that, again, would really sit with the collective. So once you were eligible for that compassionate leave, you would have access to their dashboard. And you would be able to be taken through the exact process of this is the proof that you need to provide, or this is the information that you need to provide. Also a question around sick pay. Will you need doctor's notes, and how will it be monitored? So quite a similar answer here, actually. So again, when you make a claim with the collective, you'll do so through their dashboard, through their portal. You will require a doctor's note, but the collective will guide you through exactly what you need to provide, and make sure that you're providing the adequate proof and information to make sure that your claim is successful. And then just one more question I can see, availability and booking to have more booking. So yeah, I guess the way that you can really increase or move up the tiers is principally by adding more availability on the platform. That's a great way to get more bookings, and also to enable you to meet the availability criteria. I'm not sure if that answered the question. Please feel free to follow up if that wasn't it. I think that's probably all the questions that we've received for now. If there is anything else, we'll be hosting more webinars over the next few weeks and months. So please feel free to join again. We sent out a survey to sign up for the webinar, which had the option to submit questions. You can continue to use that link to submit further questions, and we'll also speak about those in future webinars as well. I hope that was everything that needed to be covered. And yeah, have a great day, everyone. Hopefully see you soon.